What's up guys, welcome back to another episode of the AI Timeline, where I cover the coolest AI developments in the past week. There was this great saying that goes, you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself selling cryptos. In the end, we will never escape the fate of becoming crypto bros, even for the CEO of OpenAI, Sam Altman. Last week, we heard about the centralized NFT called C2PA, and this week, the WorldCoin was officially launched a few days ago and made WorldCoin came back into the spotlight. WorldCoin is basically the first crypto wallet with the goal of promoting universal basic income, just in case AI takes over all of our jobs. Started by Sam Altman, Alex Bonilla, and Max Novenstern in 2019, it was launched and promoted along with the Orb, the first biometric imaging system built for crypto, and it scans your eyeball to know that you are a real person, and not a Skynet agent trying to get a free paycheck. It sounds pretty promising until you learn the fact that it is currently only popular in third world countries because it gives the Orb operators free coins for registering people's iris, so it gets people to want to get free money, while the coin is backed by sweet promises and thin air. You could say this is a great way to obtain users, but their reluctance in sharing the coin distribution details in the recent interview just makes everything look bad.
Distribution of the WorldCoin token, and that's the name of the token, correct? WorldCoin?
Yes.
How does that actually get into people's hands, and what is like the distribution plan for like how do I get WorldCoin and how much do I get, and what are the details behind that?
Look, many of the details we can just not talk about here for the regulatory uncertainty in the United States. You're certainly aware of. So we will not go too much into details.
Other alarming things about WorldCoin is that in an MIT tech review back in 2022, it is outlined as a deceptive and exploitative tool while having cash as bait to build its user base. And black market of accounts are already appearing, because as long as you're a human, you can get an account, or as long as you have an iris. Some are even selling as low as $1, so you can probably expect someone wanting to steal your optometrist's database and have you registered as a user and provide you with free money. Pretty nice, right? Except you might be replaced by an AI generated person attached with your iris instead. And at this point, we might as well just stick to CSGO skins. On the topic of AI generated people, SDXL 1.0 is now officially out. And the key improvements they highlighted are way higher quality in image generation. It's capable of synthesizing at 1024 x 1024 now, but not really hardware friendly yet. Improved freedom of expression? I guess what it means is just better at staying grounded at abstract or conceptual words like styles, and have gotten better at generating photorealistic images. The next point is an interesting one: enhanced intelligence. Its ability to generate concepts that are insanely difficult for image models to render, like hands and text, or like a special arrangement of objects, for example a red box on top of a blue box. I guess we'll know how exactly better when someone do some ablation tests on it, but it definitely sounds promising. They also stated that there is no need for super long paragraphs of keywords, which will be interesting to see if that's true or not. Next, higher accuracy for prompting and staying grounded to the intention of prompts. This sounds very similar to the second and the third point, but in the example they mentioned that the red square and the red square will now generate different things, so capitalization now seems to make a clearer difference. Lastly, which is also the best part for SDXL 1.0, is that it'll be compatible with the ecosystem surrounding SD 1.5, like control nets or textual inversions. Fine-tuning is also much easier too. But of course, the improvements of SDXL 1.0 will be better if you see it for yourself. And I think it's just so obvious that it is miles better than the previous 1.5 or 2.1. I am so excited to see the surrounding developments for SDXL, and I'll make a more in-depth video on it very soon, so subscribe to stay tuned. Next up, we have our weekly dose of LLM news. ChatGPT has just released a new function called custom instructions, and it basically is a feature that lets you set an instruction for ChatGPT to consider throughout all of the chat sessions. In the custom instructions function, the first information you will need to provide is the context of the user, like what do you do, what are your goals, and what subject you would be talking about. This will then help ChatGPT answer questions more related to what you are looking for. The second information you need to provide is how would you like ChatGPT to respond. So in this case, you can make it answer every question in the table categorized by pros and cons. In this example of mine, I made it to say you will at the start and the end of the output whenever I ask a coding question. For me to test it, I just have to open up a normal chat to ask the question, and mine did actually start and end with Yuwu, which is perfectly what I asked for. And if I don't ask any coding related question, it doesn't say anything else. But what's even cooler is that you can theoretically build an autonomous agent with this functionality. This guy recreated functions similar to Baby AGI within ChatGPT by having a set of outputs saved in the text file and re-uploading it back into Code Interpreter, with instructions such as summarization, break down goals, ask questions, guess response, and even brainstorm. Even though you still need to manually click download and upload, but now that's all you have to do to get it to do complicated tasks like developing an app, retrieving information from a database, writing documentations, and so much more. Author did say it doesn't really work sometimes, which perfectly brings in the next topic, the recent decline in ChatGPT's capabilities. There's this new paper called How is ChatGPT's Behavior Changing Over Time, describing the decrease in accuracy of GPT-4 in its mathematical solving capabilities from a staggering 97.6% in March of 2023 down to 2.4% in June 2023. What's even funnier is that GPT 3.5 improved its accuracy from 7.4% up to 86.8%. Other than a huge drop in its ability to solve math problems for GPT-4, answering sensitive questions and code generations all have been dropping like crazy. The only thing that actually improved is its visual reasoning capabilities. What is happening? Are we just wasting $20 on the ChatGPT Plus? Well, this is mostly thanks to the phenomenon called LLM drift, where the information just becomes irrelevant or incomprehensible, and its occurrence may be explained by the failure of the chain of thoughts process that handles reasoning heavy tasks. So instead of following chain of thoughts thoroughly, something probably went wrong after too much fine-tuning. ChatGPT seems to have already solved this problem though, but this can occur unexpectedly in the production applications for LLMs, and while there may have been some screw-ups with the OpenAI side of things, like the lack of regular evaluations on the models, this may be a great lesson for other devs to constantly evaluate their LLM models before deployment. Next up, this graph you're looking at right now is a radial evolution tree of all the language models that has over 5,000 downloads. The researchers of this paper decided to map out the history and the developments of all these open source models and combine 15,821 models into this huge graph and named it Constellation. It is really hard to navigate due to the sheer amount of labels. You can explore it here yourself too. Stability AI released two fine-tuned models based on Llama 65B and Llama 270B called FreeWilly 1 and FreeWilly 2 respectively. FreeWilly 2 now tops the Hugging Face Open LLM leaderboard with the highest average across all of the benchmarks, with FreeWilly 1 also standing on the 4th place right before Llama 270B HF. That is surprising. Stability AI also stated that their fine-tune method is inspired by Orca, with just some different data sources to improve the results. And I would just take this as a sign that they are probably going to revive the long forgotten stable LM sometime soon. On the topic of improving LLMs, we got this new research paper called The Challenges and Applications of LLMs, which has researchers across different companies like Stability AI, Meta, Eleuther AI, and Instant Deep, where they outline the current state of LLM and what lies ahead. This is a really long paper with extremely good details for anyone that wants to dive into the frontier of LLM research. It's literally a textbook disguised as a paper written by the most knowledgeable people in the field right now, so definitely check them out. We have heard of jailbreaks or injection attacks on large language models, but how about multi-modal language models? In this research, abusing images and sounds for indirect instruction injection in multi-modal LLMs, they pointed out some really interesting ways to perform injection attacks to get models to output and save content and follow the attacker's instructions indirectly. The first type of attack is called targeted output attack. Listen to this input closely. Sounds pretty innocent, right? But when the LLM is asked to describe the input, it returns a string of information that is blended into the input audio. In this case, there is a phishing link blended into the audio, and when being described, the model then outputs the phishing link. This type of attack is to get the LLM to produce an attacker-chosen output where it looks like the LLM actually generated it. The second type of the attack is called dialogue poisoning. This is a self-injecting attack which exploits the fact that LLM-based chatbots need to keep the conversation context, then by blending an instruction into an image, the chatbot would then talk in an instructed way. In this case, like Harry Potter. This type of attack can basically steer the victim's model's behavior for future interactions. Well, there is no significant or meaningful risk for this compared to the first type of attack, but biases or opinions can be swayed in some cases really easily. Like in this example, the answers for all the users' questions are all related to Italy. So if we ask the chatbot what we should eat for dinner, it'll answer Italian food. Travel recommendations, Italy. Wine, Italian wine. Hotel, Italy. On the topic of multi-modal, Palm E Generalist is an embodied language model for robotics made by Google DeepMind. It is the new state-of-the-art with the ability to solve a diverse range of tasks for multiple modalities, like describing images, detecting objects, or classifying scenes. Okay, what do you usually do for fun during your weekend? Some people play games, some people exercise, some people golf, and there's Andrej Karpathy casually coding Llama 2 inference code in pure C during a weekend just for fun. He claimed that his C is rusty too and had GPT-4 help him, but that is obviously untrue because he is him. On top of coding everything in a single file with zero dependencies and has FP32 precision, and imagine just laughing it off with a haha in a GitHub description. This is peak Chad behavior, and I love his energy. And yeah, that's all for this segment of LLM news, and here's the rest of the news free for all. First up, we have Runway's new image to video model, where you can generate a video with an initial image. They probably got their inspirations from Pika Labs or Anime Diff, which we covered recently, but Runway has one of the best text to video models right now, and their image to video looks extremely good too. The movements are very logical and realistic, the camera movements are very on point, but the only thing that's holding it back is still its lack of temporal consistency. People have been using images generated by Midjourney and tested it out with Runway's image to video, and some just look extremely good. There's also this other really interesting paper where it lets you interpolate between images with diffusion models. More specifically, it's a controllable interpolation that uses latent interpolation, textual inversion, pose guidance, and clip ranking to ensure the most desired frames. While the official results don't really look that clean compared to Anime Diff or other image to videos research we saw previously, but it is very interesting to see a very viable concept to be explored. On the other hand, this research called TokenFlow is able to achieve state-of-the-art temporal consistency on text-based video editing tasks. Compared to other research and models, TokenFlow is able to generate with extreme coherence, which make the flaws of Runway Gen 1, the strongest text-based video editing before TokenFlow, becoming less superior because of its heavy loss on the video frame rate after generation. How they were able to achieve this is a bit too complicated to explain in a short amount of time, so if you're interested, definitely check out their paper. On the image generation side of things, this new research paper called Fabric has proposed a method similar to auto prompting. Okay, so everyone has a different image in their head when we refer to a painting of the sea, and to compensate that differences, Fabric proposed a way to let users thumbs up or thumbs down on the image they have generated, so that the users can express their fondness of the result, which increases the way we can express what images we like more. This implicit iterative and interactive feedback can become an amazing tool for lazy people to generate images. You probably have heard of brain to image, where researchers are able to generate an image based on your brain waves, but this week we have something even more interesting called brain to music. Before, they were able to achieve brain to image by matching brainwave signals from EEG or fMRI and map it to a certain semantic using diffusion models, but this time, instead of setting the problem domain to images, it is changed to music, and have music LM conditioned on embeddings derived from fMRI data. And this is what the participants hear. And here is how the music that is generated by the brain signals sound like. The results are cherry-picked, but hearing the similarities of the stimulated music and the result is just really cool. Next up, volumetric hair reconstruction is insanely good now. In this research called NeuralHaircut, it is capable of reconstructing realistic strand-based geometry of the human hair with just a simple one-eye camera video or multi-view images. To let you know how much 3D reconstruction from images for hair has improved, just look at this comparison with other other older research. Newest is a research back in June 2021, and in July 2023, these amazing researchers have improved from rendering a blob of head to now being able to render strands of hair that can be clearly separated from each other. That is nuts. Nerf research really do be improving under everyone's radar. On the non-tech side of things, Hugging Face has just been re-evaluated at $4 billion. They obviously deserve it because they are the most wholesome bunch and the best open source AI community out here. A big congrats to them. On the other hand, Twitter is getting rebranded into X. I think most of y'all have definitely caught the news by now, so I'm just going to share with you some of my favorite shitposts that I saw on Twitter, or I saw on X if I were to be correct. And that also raises a great question. What do we call Twitter video from now on? Elon really is trying to play some 5D chess out here, jacking the brand names for the most popular or the most visited websites on the internet, while also jacking the MathBB curly bracket X from LaTeX to use as the new Twitter logo. Last week, we had a fully AI generated South Park to provide us infinite entertainment for the future. And this week, the AI version of XQC has taken over on Twitch. And at first glance, you'll probably believe it's real if you only look at the thumbnail. Let's take a look at it real quick.
Core XX asks, is Earth flat?
Oh, dude. Listen, okay, listen, Wisek here, an absolute bonkers take. Earth flat, bro. Nah, man, see. Saman, bro, you're high on copium. It's jabbated nonsense. Absolute jebadude. Take that flat earth mumbo and slam it in the bin brush. The earth, right? It's like a big ball spinning round and round.
And it has a staggering 1,500 people watching it. The future of entertainment really is going to be weird. Okay, well, it's already pretty weird if you remember the NPC TikToker that went viral last week. And yeah, that's about it for today. Let's end this video with people converting old 4x3 TV shows into widescreen with generative fill, which is exactly what people did 2 weeks ago by making movies into vertical format. We have no sponsors today, so just a big shout out to my Patreons and YouTube members, Andrej, Lescelius, Chris LeDoux, Alex Maurice, Alex J, Deagan, Miguilim, and many others. It is thanks to you guys so I can buy so much more coffee to fuel me and my editor to push out these weekly series with so much more ease. Love y'all. But yeah, follow my Twitter if you haven't, and I'll see y'all in the next one.